he was still known as Lucifer, when he was the anointed cherub, he was God's music director. That was his job. He was a symphony orchestrator. It says out of like pipes, like a pipe organ. He's a musical being. He's a musical creature of God. So that is a very powerful tool that he has. It's a very powerful weapon. Do you think that Satan would have this great and powerful and awesome weapon of music and forget to use it? I don't think so. He's going to use music, and he does. So, what do we need to do to prepare our hearts? Let's start it with 2 Kings chapter 3, verses 14 and 15. 2 Kings chapter 3, verses 14 and 15. Here there was a great battle that was going to be fought by 3 kings against 2 other kings, and they didn't know what to do. They were in a disadvantage before the battle started. They did not have any water. The soldiers needed water. The animals needed water. They were about to get slaughtered by the enemy. And a godly king said, we need a prophet. Is there a prophet here that can help me get out of this bad situation that I'm in? Because this godly king of Judah allied himself with a wicked king in Israel to the north, and they went to battle and didn't ask God's approval. So here he was in a lot of trouble. They're about to get massacred, and this godly king says, we need a prophet. Jehoshaphat said, we need a prophet that can tell us what God would have us to do now. Can we save our lives, or is there something that we can do? And so the soldiers asked around, and they said, yes, there's a prophet here. It's the prophet Elisha. The prophet Elisha. And Jehoshaphat said, yes, now there's a prophet. So they went to the prophet Elisha, and they said, Elisha, Jehoshaphat said, can you prophesy for us, kings? And Elisha said, only for you, Jehoshaphat. Not for these other wicked 2 other kings that you've allied yourself with. But for you, Jehoshaphat, you're a good guy, you're a good king. I will prophesy. I will go to God and see what he would have me to say to you. And so in 2 Kings chapter 3, verses 14 and 15, it says, and Elisha said, as the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee, nor see thee. But now bring me a minstrel. That's a musician. And it came to pass, when the minstrel played, that the hand of the Lord came upon him. Interesting. Elisha said, yeah, I'll talk to God, but before I'm able to communicate with God, I need music from a musician to be played first. What were they trying to access? They were trying to access communication line with God. And Elisha says, I need to open up this line of communication, and the way that I need it done is through music. Let me ask you the question. That music that was played, that prepared Elisha's heart to receive the word of God, was that music used in a powerful way to do good or to do bad? Good. So you could say it's good music, right? So you could say, based on this, that there's a time where music was used in a powerful way to do good. Music can be used for good. If you think that music can be used for good, do you think that since Satan is a musical creature, do you think that that music can be used to do bad? I think so, absolutely. Let's look at another one. I'll just go ahead and read it. This is Saul, who would later become King Saul. This is before he was the king. And the prophet Samuel was sent out by God to tell Saul that he would become the king. And Saul would be hesitant to believe it. If some man came to me and said, you're going to be the next president of the United States after Donald Trump, I would be very hesitant. I would be very doubtful to believe it. So I would want a sign. Prove it that I'm going to be the next president of the United States. So that's the way Saul was going to be with Samuel. So Samuel said there was going to be a sign. He says, basically he says, you're going to go here and see this, and you're going to go there and see that, and your dad's going to find you, and he's going to say this to you, and everything happened according to what Samuel said. And my point here is, Samuel said this. He says that he's going to go find some, he says, and they will salute thee, and give thee 2 loaves of bread, which thou shalt receive of their hands. He said, we're going to find some people. After that, thou shalt come to the hill of God, where is the garrison of the Philistines. And it shall come to pass, when thou art come thither to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place, with a psaltery, a tabret, and a pipe, and a harp before them, and they shall prophesy. What was before these prophets? Before they could prophesy, what was before them? Music, instruments. Before they could prophesy, they needed instruments. Interesting. Music is something that opens up the communication line with the spirit world. Be it God in heaven with his holy angels, or be it Satan with his demons. Music has the power to prepare our hearts, quite literally, to receive the message. One more point, I won't even read there, but in 1 Samuel, it talks about King David as he ministered before King Saul. It said that a spirit troubled King Saul. Some people think that he was melancholy, he was bipolar, he was depressed, he was some other 3-letter psychologist, diagnosis. No, he had a demon, a spirit. A demon was troubling King Saul. And so King Saul went to some of his advisors and he said, what am I going to do? This demon menaces me. King Saul was a saved man, no doubt about it. He even prophesied, filled with the Holy Ghost, no doubt. He was a Christian. Did some really bad things, especially once when he killed the whole town of prophets. But King Saul, he said, what do I do about this demon that is obsessing me? It's bothering me. Not possessing, but obsessing, bothering. So his advisor says, well, why don't you go find someone who's good at playing the harp and have him play music, and the power of that music will drive away that demonic spirit. Guess who they found to play the harp? David. So David goes there, he plays his harp, and guess what the spirit does? It goes away. The power of the music that David played with his harp, that music had the power, not this David, that music had the power to drive away the demon. So, music can be used for good, and also music can be used for bad. In fact, this David, not the King David, this one will never be a king. Right? Never. Right? This David here was telling me about a time. David, can I tell the story about that time?
Yeah.
Yes, I can tell them, right? It won't embarrass you. That time he went to that faith healer. Is that okay if I tell them that? Okay, you won't be embarrassed, right? Alright. So David, one time, he said he was a child. And I don't know if it was his family or friend or someone took him to like a faith healer. And he went there and he did not believe in this faith healing business. And you might have seen them, they'll say, in Jesus' name. They'll put their hand out and the people will faint. You go look up on YouTube and see, holy laughter, or holy rolling, or holy healing, and all that stuff. And even here they now have in Europe, it's catching on, it's called holy derobing. That's not something I want Lola to be doing. But anyway, so David goes to this faith healer, and he's cynical. That means he's doubtful. He does not believe it. And he goes up to this faith healer, and he's coming up. The faith healer says, you're resisting. Stop resisting. And David's thinking, tell me if I get this wrong, okay? I don't want to get it wrong. And David's thinking, well, this is all fake. This isn't real. And he kind of goes a little closer, and what does the guy? He reaches out his hand. Reaches out his hand, and then David felt what? He felt He just kind of got delirious, or like dizzy, but not really the physical dizziness, just kind of the mental problem you have is the dizziness. So he kind of lost full consciousness, you would say. Was it fake, or was that a real feeling? It was a real feeling. That is the power of the demon to do those things. Some of those faith healers that you see maybe at Evangelist or on TV, a lot of that is not fake. I'm sure some of it is. Some of it just want to, be there on stage and do what everybody else is doing. But a lot of that is not fake. It is real. It is the power of demons. And where do these guys that that are on TV, where do they get the power to do something like that? If you came to me and I said, in Jesus' name, and it went like this, you're not going to fall over. I don't have that kind of power. Now if I lunged at you and crushed you, then you would fall over. Where do they get this power? It's from demons. So you think, well, okay, that's where they get it from. How do they get this power from the demons? How is it that they're able to use and manipulate a demon in order to work about this physical thing that they do? And there are even healings. Temporary, but they do have temporary healings. How do they do it? How do they summon the demon? How do they prepare their hearts for the demon to be able to do its work? Rock music. They play music that has power to do bad. In English, we call that moral. The opposite of moral is amoral. So moral means it's able to be good, it's able to be bad. Amoral means it can't be good, it can't be bad, it is what it is. Like for example, my shirt here, right? It's just a shirt sleeve. It doesn't have the power to do good, it doesn't have the power to do bad, it's just a shirt sleeve. This thing here, whatever you call it, this mic holder, it doesn't have the power to do good or bad. It is amoral. It's just an object. And music, through these passages that we've looked at, has proven to be a moral, something that is moral. It can be used for good, or it can be used for something that is bad. Yeah. So let me ask you this question. Because music is moral, that means we need to draw a line. Where do we draw the line? So for example, if something is amoral, like that air conditioner over, that thing's immoral. Never mind, that thing's dead. I forgot. That's satanic. Alright. Now this painting right here, this mural, it's amoral. So you don't need to worry. It's a what? A mural. A mural. This amoral, a mural. So you don't need to worry about, well, where's the good, where's the bad? Where do we draw the line in this mural? What part of this is good and bad? It's amoral. But music, you need to have somewhere where you draw a line. And you say, this music on this side of the line is sinful, is demonic, it's satanic, it's from hell. Good. And on this side of the line over here is godly. It opens up the communication with heaven. So somewhere with music, there is a line. And you draw that line and you stay on one side of that line. So where do we draw the line? Some people say, oh, music. How is it moral? You play the letter C on that piano. Note, the C. Ding. And they will mock and they will say, well, is that moral or amoral? But it's like saying that language is amoral. The letter A, is it a good letter or a bad letter, or it's amoral? It's just the letter A, right? Okay? But if you combine that letter A with some other letters, you can make some pretty bad, morally bad things, right? Right. Just the letter L and the letter B and the letter M is not bad. But you put it all together, it's really bad, right? Okay then. So, as we know. So, in and of itself, just a music note is amoral. It's when you combine it together to create music, then it takes on morality. Good, the power to do good, and the power to do bad. So how do we know? So once you establish that, I'm going to tell you, the vast majority of Christians do not believe what we've already concluded, that we already agreed on. Unless you don't agree with me, which I know you're too kind, you won't like, actually I disagree with you because you're wrong. I know you're very kind. Let's just say that you agree. Music is moral. It has the power to do good, like with David and the minstrel and Elisha and Saul, what they did and the prophets. And it has the power to do bad, like tell Evangelist and Satan. So it has the power to do good and to do bad. It is moral. That means somewhere you've got to draw a line. Where are we going to draw that line? So, what does the Bible say? How can we find out where to draw that line? The Bible defines music for us in several different places. We're going to take a look at a few here. Isaiah chapter 23, verse 16. Isaiah 23, 16. Music is made up of three components. There's the melody. That's the vertical movement of the note. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's the up and down, the vertical movement of the note. That's the melody as it changes the pitch. Okay? And then there is the rhythm. That is the horizontal movement of the note. Do, 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 do. How long you hold it out? That is the rhythm. So how long you hold it out horizontally is the rhythm. And what pitch you hit is the melody. Combining that together, you're going to have music. And then there's also harmony. There's harmony, there's melody, there's rhythm. The harmony, I think you know it, that's when you sing like a different note that harmonizes with the melody. The melody is one at a time. Whereas harmony can be a whole bunch of different notes all at once. So Isaiah chapter 23, verse 16, it says, "Take it heart, go about the city, thou harlot, thou hast been forgotten, make sweet melody." What kind? So let's see. What kind do you think God wants to dominate the song? The melody, the harmony, or the rhythm? The melody. Let's look at Isaiah 51, verse 3. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 3. It says, "For the Lord shall comfort Zion, he will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her a wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness shall be found in them, thanksgiving and the voice of melody." How does God describe music? How does he define what music is? Melody. Let's turn now to Amos chapter 5, verse 23. It says, "Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy viols." It's an instrument. What is God saying to take away their music? He calls it their melody. To take away their melody. What does God emphasize in music? Did he say, "I'm going to take the rhythm away"? No, it says, "I'm going to take away your melody." And to make it even clearer, in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 19, I'll just read it while you turn there. It says, "Speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord." The Lord wants our music that's going to open up communication with Him, with heaven, to prepare our hearts. God wants our music to be predominantly melody. He wants a strong melody. Okay? How do we do that? Let's say we all agree. God loves melody. He wants it to be melodious. How do we know what is melody? So we talked about what rhythm is and melody. If you have a beat, every song has a beat. What's the last song we heard? "Make my life a living sacrifice, crucified for thee." Okay, I snapped the beat as I went along. And your body, you will anticipate the next time I snap my finger, the next beat. I don't need to actually do it. You know it. You will sense it. Even people tone deaf like RJ, he knows when I'm about to snap my finger, right? When Jesus Christ my... Did you know when I was going to say Savior? Absolutely. You knew exactly when I was going to start the word Savior. When Jesus Christ my Savior prepared for Calvary's tree, He went into the garden. You know exactly when I'm going to say that word, garden and tree. You know exactly when that word is going to start. You know that rhythm is going to support that melody together. You anticipate it. It's natural. You don't need any kind of training. Even a baby can tap to the beat of a song. Even a baby. And that's why they have marching bands. And when they play that marching band, what are they going to play? right? They're going to play music, and they're going to play that music, and they're going to play it in a tempo that the men will march to. Why? Why does it make it easier for people to march? Shouldn't those drummers and the trumpeters, shouldn't they be holding a gun? Wouldn't that be a more effective weapon in an army? That instead of having a bugle player or a drummer, why don't they just have that person holding a gun? Because they're trying to communicate that march and that tempo. And they know, they're not stupid, they want to win the war, and they know that a drum or a trumpet cannot fire out bullets. So when they put those, they make those songs, they want to make sure that those soldiers know when that beat is going to be. You don't need to know the tone, you don't need to know the pitch, you just need to know what is the tempo, and you will automatically, even a baby, will automatically move to the tempo of that song. It knows how, you know how to anticipate when that beat will take place. Rock music is when you switch the anticipation of that beat. They call it syncopation, backbeat, breakbeat, rock beat. I've heard all kinds of things. But basically, when you actually change, when you will switch the note, you actually change it to the opposite of what you're going to anticipate. So you might emphasize the offbeat, is also I've heard it. So instead of when Jesus Christ my Savior, I'm not very good at it, but I could change it to this would be the tempo, this would be the beat. And when I sing the song, it's not going to coincide with the beat. It's going to be off. When Jesus Christ my Savior. Okay, not very good at it, but you get the point. That's what that's what a rock beat is. I remember traveling on jeepneys many times, you probably have too, and rather than actually having, they don't even bother with the melody. All they play all day long, some of those jeepney drivers, is nothing but a rock beat. Nothing else. All just, you know, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm talking about. They just play that rock beat over and over and over. Why? They're not interested in the melody. That, by Bible definition, that's not even considered music. It has no melody. All they need, all their flesh desires, is just to hear that beat. That's all they care about. That communicates to the flesh, not to your spirit. The melody communicates your spirit in combination with the rhythm. So all they want is that offbeat, that rhythm. So you can say, okay, so if it has a rock beat, that's how you know the melody is diminished and the rhythm is augmented. So we need to stay away from music that's going to communicate with our flesh, that's going to open up the demons to come and to bring us and to influence us. If you look at the schools, people that shoot up the schools, what kind of music do they listen to? Rock. Huh? Listen to rock. What about people when they commit suicide? Suicide has a close connection with music. Rock music. They're not playing classical music. They're not singing the type of songs that we sing here. They're using the world's music, and those demons do influence. There is a power in that music. The Bible teaches it. We just touched on a few of them. There's more. The longest book in the Bible is the book of Songs. Songs. It's about music. It's the longest book in the Bible. God cares about our style of music. It's not about just the words. You can put great words to Christian, quote-unquote, Christian rap, and it's still garbage. If I were to say, I love all of you! Alright? If anyone was sleeping, you're awake now, right? Would you believe me if I said it like that? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. If I were to say, can we all just please break out into wild chaos? Right? It's not about just what you say, it's about how you say it, and that's what is delivering the lyrics to the song. When Jesus, make my life a living sacrifice, crucified. That song's talking about a crucified, living while being crucified. A sacrificial crucifixion. Those are powerful lyrics. It's great lyrics. And it would be garbage if those lyrics were placed with a rock beat. It's not just what the message is being delivered, it's how you deliver the message that really gives it its power. You can take great lyrics to wicked music, and it's still going to be wicked. You have to do the right thing in the right way. That's the only way you're going to get a right result. If you look at what kind of music, well, let's see, when you associate music with a certain thing that's wicked, you can know. I don't need to turn in the Bible and show you, I already have, but let's just say something that's very, very wicked that's associated with music. A seance. Do you know what a seance is? A seance, let's say maybe you've seen old documentaries about deep, dark Africa. And what are they doing? They're running around the fire. They're doing the fire dance around the fire. And what are they trying to do? Summoning the spirits, right? They're spirit dance. So they're dancing around the fire. And what kind of people are these? Good or bad? They're bad, right? They're animists. It means they worship the universe. They were Satan worshippers. They're cannibals. They're people that actually do human sacrifices physically, right? So they go into how do they worship? They have a seance. How do they communicate? What type of music do you think that they are using for their seance? Rock and roll. The exact same thing that you get from the king of rock and roll. I forget his name. Elvis Presley. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing that you hear today in churches across the world. Baptist churches save people. They're trying to prepare their hearts for God. And I tell you, no matter what the preacher goes up there and preaches, he can give the very words of God straight from the Bible. And it's going to be very difficult for the person to receive it. Why? Because their heart is so prepared for the wrong way. The demons are influencing them so strong. That's why you cannot have bad music and have a good service. You just can't. Good, right. I wish it was the case. I wish great preaching would just annihilate all that wicked music. That music is powerful. And it takes some very, very powerful, it's not that it can't be done, but it takes some very powerful preaching, some very powerful convicting to be able to do away with the power of the music that precedes the preaching. Music is a very powerful weapon. It is something that can lead to destruction, to death, to suicide, to murder. Now you think about in the rock concerts. What do you think is going on there? Do you think that God is being glorified by the actions that's taking place? No. And it's leading to fornication, and it's leading to fighting. You don't go, and there's never a break. They never have fighting breakout in a classical music concert. I've been to classical symphonies, and you know what? We never had to worry about drive-by shootings when we were getting into our cars in the parking lot. Never had to worry about that. I've never read about that before. But at rap concerts and rock concerts, things like that happen all the time. Why? Because that music is feeding into that demonic influence. It is feeding into their flesh. What type of instrument do you think is being played at these seances? Drums. How many seances do you think have violins in them? Why do you think in the center stage for all the rock concerts, what do they have? Drums. They have drums. Can you guess? Let's just take a wild guess. Alright? Can you guess what instrument is not able to play melody? It can only play rhythm? Drums. Oh, do you think that's a coincidence? Why does the world love drums so much? Because they like things that are round? Is it because it's shiny? Or is it because it's the instrument, the one instrument, that percussion instrument that cannot play any melody? They don't need the melody. They just want the rhythm. They just want that rock beat. So, can you have drums and good music? Sure. If it's in the background. I've seen drummers play the timpani. But there's the trombone section, there's the trumpet section, there's the flutes and the clarinets, and there's everything else. And it's a background that helps to keep the tempo, but it's in sync with the melody. It's not there to make a rock beat. Even slight, even a little bit. Stay away from it. Stay away from even that little bit of a rock beat in the music. It's going to prepare you for the wrong place. to do the wrong thing. It will influence you, but it will not influence you to do right. It will influence you to do wrong. It's a battlefield. It's something that Christians have wanted to say, let's not major on the minors. Okay, I agree with that. Let's all agree just to not major on the minors. Shall we?
Yeah.
Alright, we're not going to major on the minors. So let's go over what are the majors. Salvation, music, dress, doctrine, church attendance, giving, everything in the Bible. Everything in this book is a major.
Yeah.
Alright? These are all majors. So let's not major on the minor, let's major on the majors, which is all of them.
Yeah.
There's no, well, you know, if you go up to this, section here, that's minor. And then, oh, the words in red, that's Jesus' words, that's major. No. Every single word is major. Every single thing taught in the Bible is major. Music is not a minor. King James Version issue is not a minor. How we dress is not a minor. If we go to church or not is not a minor. Is it having to do with salvation? No. You can still go to heaven if you're not faithful in church and listen to bad music and you dress bad and that sort of thing. But it's a major thing to God.
Amen.
It's how God receives glory. And that ought to be more important to us than anything else, that we glorify our God. Are you glorifying God with your music? You might say, you know what, I'm not glorifying God with my music, but boy, am I doing everything else right? Well, guess what? It's really difficult to do anything else right if you've got your music wrong. So, next time, Brother Joel says, let us prepare our hearts. Let's get some good music going. That's how we're going to prepare our hearts. Pastor, if you come.
Thank you so much. Good.
Thank you, Brother John. Let us all stand up, please.
I hope you're
Reminded, music is everywhere, in your cell phone, all around us. Tayo mga kapatid, kasi lalo na po, parents, please, we have a part in protecting our young people. Let us not let them not be polluted by false music. Amen? Ano ho, yung mga music that will lead us to lust and sin. Ano ho. So thank you, preacher. What a good reminder for us. That's why music department always prepare new songs, special numbers, practice well. We will have a music camp this coming May 28. If you want to attend, please let me know. Brother Heb will be going. Brother Josiah will be going. I hope Brother David will go. He needs to. Our music should be. Let us do our best to make our music that will prepare our hearts really for the preaching of God's word. Amen.